さあ、これでまた楽園目指せるぞ。
Hello my beautiful weebs and welcome back to another video. Today Otaku Sensei will be recommending the top 10 anime where the main character starts off weak but totally powers up. If you're new here and happen to enjoy this sort of content, then please don't forget to subscribe as well as turn on the notification bell, and for the people who are already subbed and like the video before it actually starts, know that we appreciate you. Also, we've been partnered with Gamersupps, so if you guys want to buy waifu cups or energy drink mix, make sure to use code OTAKU at the link in the description. And it would be great if you guys follow Otaku Sensei on Twitter. That being said, let's start the video. We kickstart this list with Taboo Tattoo. Segi, a martial arts trained middle schooler, often feels driven to protect the weaker people around him. One day, he defends a homeless man from some punks, and the man gives him a strange tattoo on his palm, in return which puts him in a clusterfuck. The show isn't amazing, but what makes it watchable is the fight scenes and smooth animation. So if you're adding Taboo Tattoo to your list, don't expect a strong plot continuity and character development. The show only shines in the action department, so don't watch it for the wrong reasons or you'll drop it fast. In 9th place we have Angolmois, Record of Mongol Invasion. In the 13th century, the Mongolian Empire rapidly expands across the globe. Later historians who study the prophecies of Nostradamus would say that Mongolia was the birthplace of the great king of terror, Angolmois. And at last, the force of the Mongolian Empire would turn their attention toward Japan. 1274, the Bunye invasion. The exiled samurai Genzaburo Kuchi is in Kamakura when he finds himself face to face with this invasion. This story is a fresh look at the great battle that rocked all of medieval Japan, the Mongol invasion. It shows how the people of Tsushima panicked, struggled, and eventually rose up against the overwhelming forces of their enemy. This is a pretty decent anime, and I kinda highly recommend it. In 8th place, we have Big Wind Up. The series, set in Saitama Prefecture, follows the story of Ren Mihashi. Mihashi was the previous ace pitcher in his middle school's baseball team, but it seems that he only got the position because his grandfather was the owner of the school. His teammates, especially the team's catcher, Hatake, hated him and they always lost their games. Mihashi is thoroughly convinced that he is a lousy baseball pitcher, and feels guilty because he believes that he is responsible for all the losses. Mihashi graduates from middle school with extremely low self-esteem. But in truth, Mihashi is really a hardworking and skillful pitcher. And the main reason why his team always lost all the games is because of bad cooperation. Because his teammates never talked about the game with him and they did not try to come up with a plan or strategy to fight against their rivals. Mihashi then transfers to Nishiura High School with plans of quitting baseball because he thinks he's not good enough to succeed at it, though he still loves the game deeply. However, he's dragged onto the baseball team by their coach, Momoe, while watching the team training outside the field. Assisted by his new teammates, and especially the catcher Takuya Abe, he grows in stature, confidence, and skill, helping his team excel with his own abilities. In 7th place, we have Dead Man Wonderland. As Ganta Igarashi and his classmates plan for a class trip to Dead Man Wonderland, a privately owned prison that also serves as an amusement park, a mysterious red man appears, killing his entire class and thrusting a red stone into Ganta's chest. Being the only survivor of the entire class, Ganta is charged with mass murder and, due to the overwhelming and doctored evidence against him, with no way to prove his innocence, he is sentenced to death and sent to Dead Man Wonderland's prison. As some of the higher-ups plot to kill Ganta in an accident, Ganta meets a strange white-haired girl named Shiro, who manages to read his heart and understand him. When a bunch of bullies start attacking Ganta and Shiro, an explosion causes a large object to fall towards Ganta. However, his desire to keep living so he can kill the Red Man activates the powers that were implanted in him, allowing him to control his blood to save himself as well as Shiro. In 6th place, we have a classic show, Hajime no Ippo. Makunochi Ippo is a 16-year-old high school student who helps his mother run the family business. His hefty workload impedes on his social life, making him an easy target for bullies. One day, while being beaten up by a group of high school students, Ippo is saved by a boxer named Mamoru Takamura and is brought to the Kamogawa boxing gym. This after-school bullying session turns his life around for the better, as Ippo discovers his latent ability for boxing and decides to practice the sport professionally. However, Mamoru doubts Ippo's determination and assigns him a task deemed impossible to complete. But the resolute Ippo trains tirelessly to fulfill his mission. Along the way, he finds out what it means to attain true strength while making new friends and fighting formidable foes. In 5th place, we have Arata the Legend. As a young boy from a noble family, Arata has always expected to make his life his own, especially after his grandmother had claimed him to be female at birth, which doesn't make sense at first, but when the word of the princess growing weak with no other girls to succeed her reaches the city, he is now next in line for the throne. See, it makes total sense now. Disguised as a woman awaiting a replacement to be found, Arata witnesses an assassination attempt on the princess by none other than her guard. The crime is pinned on his head, forcing Arata to escape to the forest, where something magical happens and he switches universes as well as places with another Arata from modern-day Japan. Now the wimp Arata, with his newly awakened powers and the help of his companions he meets along his journey, has to restore the world order. I get this description was kind of confusing to some, and that's why you should watch the anime to make sense of it. But if I had to simplify, I would say the story revolves around a guy pretending to be a princess who gets framed for murder, hence he skips realities and replaces himself with a body double who was getting bullied at school. In 4th place, we have To Your Eternity. It, a mysterious immortal being in the shape of an orb, is sent to Earth with no emotions nor identity. However, it's able to take the shape of those around that have a strong impetus. At first, it's a sphere. Then, it imitates the form of a rock. As the temperature drops and snow falls atop the moss, it inherits the moss. When an injured lone wolf comes limping by and lays down to die, it takes on the form of the animal. Finally, it gains consciousness and begins to traverse the empty tundra until it meets a boy. The boy lives alone in a ghost town, which the adults abandoned long ago in search of the paradise said to exist far beyond the endless sea of white tundra. However, their efforts were for naught, and now the boy is in a critical state. Acquiring the form of the boy, it set off on a never-ending journey, in search of new experiences, places, and people. In 3rd place, we have Full-Time Magister. Our hero, Mo Fan, inherits a magical necklace. The next day, he wakes up to find that the world has changed. His high school now teaches magic, and students are encouraged to try and become accomplished magicians. A world that ran on science now runs on magic. However, some things are still the same. He still has a teacher who sees him as a hopeless student, classmates who look the same, a father who struggles to make ends meet, and a not-by-blood little sister who can't walk on her own. However, Mo Fan discovers that the vast majority of magicians can only harness one element of magic. As luck would have it, however, he is an exception, a versatile mage. The anime is a manhwa adaptation, and if you're waiting for the new season, you can just pick up the manhwa. Wink wink. In 2nd place, we have another classic show, Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple. Kenichi Shirahama is a good-natured but bullied 15-year-old boy. Tired of being weak, he joins his school's karate club to grow stronger, only to end up as mere target practice for his seniors. However, the beautiful transfer student Miyu Furinji changes Kenichi's undesirable fate. She is a first-rate martial artist who introduces him to Ryo Zanpaku Dojo. There, Kenichi meets the dojo's 6 eccentric masters, who then decide to take him in as their disciple. Shijo Saikyo no Deshi Kenichi tells the story of history's strongest disciple, Kenichi, as he trains tirelessly under the world's greatest martial artists, who each specialize in their own martial art to gain the strength to protect the people and values important to him. And Seven Knights Revolution, Hero's successor, is at number 1. Seven Knights is set in a world where eons ago, valiant heroes fought against the forces of destruction. While their deeds passed into legend, the power of these heroes was later inherited by successors, who fought to protect the world. One day, Faria, a successor of the Seven Knights, saves an ordinary boy named Nemo from the forces of destruction. During the ensuing battle, Nemo summons the power of a hero and becomes a successor as well. However, Nemo's hero is a stranger that is unknown to history, and so an epic journey where past and present collide begins. This video ends here, and I want to especially say thank you to all those people who support us through Patreon and channel membership. And if you guys also want to support, then you can become a channel member or Patreon member yourself. Also, make sure to follow Otaku Sensei on social media for update related things. And remember to use code OTAKU at GamerSupps because their product is the best. Link in the description. We hope you enjoyed this list as well as got introduced to new shows, and if you did, then leave a like, and even if you didn't, consider still liking since it helps the video grow more. Share with your buddies, and like always, subscribe and turn on notifications. Until next time, try to keep the comments section wholesome. Peace out.